Hello and greetings, everyone. Welcome to Walking with God. I am your host, Kyle Walker, and it is Tuesday, November 6th, 2018. Thank you all for joining me, even though nobody's yet in the show on the live chat room. There we go. We've got our first person in. Hey, and it's our buddy Joe. Hello, Joe. I'm glad you all have joined us this evening. This is, of course, coming to you live out of Kansas City on a cold, rainy, very November feeling evening, which is really cool. So we have a first tonight, and you'll see I keep checking the chat window because I'm waiting for someone to come in the chat room here. I've been told that tonight there's going to be the first ever, at least the first that I know of, Walking with God with Kyle Walker. I guess a group viewing or a mass viewing, as in more than one person is getting together to actually watch the show tonight. So I thought that was kind of cool. Of course, no pressure when somebody says that there's going to be multiple people watching from the same location. Why would that be frightening at all? Yeah, no. But it is November, and so to really kind of jump into November, this is the month in which we are supposed to be thankful and to give thanks. I wanted to really just kind of start with that tonight. Groupies, yeah. I am going to keep an eye on the chat room for a few reasons. On Facebook today, I posed the question of what are people thankful for? And so tons of people responded, and I'm going to bring you their answers shortly. And then for anyone who tunes in during the live viewing here on November 6th, in the chat window, go ahead and let us know what you're thankful for. As I see them pop up, I will try and read them out here on air, because why not? It's that time of year, and we've had such heavy episodes lately with the Pittsburgh situation and things like that. Why not go ahead and talk about the things that we're thankful for? And it just, it's way more uplifting when you do that. But today, again, with it being November 6th, the first Tuesday in November, this was Election Day. And we stressed upon you last week to get out there and vote. I wanted to show you. I've got my little sticker here, which you can't really see because of the light. But I went out and I did my voting today. I hope that you did too. I saw a quote that I liked on Facebook. Like, I'm going to put my sticker on right now. There we go. There's my I voted sticker. I saw a quote on Facebook that I stole, and I thought it was great. It says that what is it? It's the vote that is not cast is the worst vote of all. It doesn't matter if you vote Republican or Democrat. The worst vote is the one that's not cast. So I thought that was a good quote, and of course I just butchered it because I didn't write it down. I didn't really prepare notes tonight. A lot of times I come at this with a script. I didn't do that this evening, mainly because I just kind of wanted to talk really more from the heart. When you're talking about the things that you're thankful for, why would you want to read a generic list? So I'm just kind of shooting from the hip tonight, and I thought that might be either fun or terrible. So one or the other. And again, as people are popping in, Mark Taylor sees the new shirt. Yes, got one of the new Team Fidelis shirts on. I wanted to rock the new gear. Got my NFL Kansas City Chiefs hat on for the Salute to Service, which is their initiative all through November to honor those who have served in the military. So another way that we say thanks. And so let's see. Oh, in the chat window, our buddy Joe, being able to send off a final credit card payment is something that he gives thanks for. And that's a big one, because living that life debt-free, man, that's the way to go right there. So yeah, keep them coming in the chat window. Give us what you're talking about. I haven't seen the groupies come in yet, so maybe the the viewing party didn't happen. But I wanted to share with you, and again, I don't mean to sound self-centered, but as has been the history of this show, I kind of talk to you guys about my experiences and the things that I go through to try and make it relational and kind of relate to what I'm talking about for the topic of the show and the things that are going on with everyone else. But I had kind of a moment last night. So last night was my last softball game of the season. I play men's slow pitch recreational softball, and I had figured out at the start of the spring season that this year was my 20th season of playing slow pitch softball. 20 seasons, so 20 years that I've been doing this. And so last night was the last game of my 20th season, and I left last night, I left the softball fields angry. I wasn't happy. I was just kind of in an overall foul mood. leaving. We lost both of our games last night, which I shouldn't be too upset about that. That's nothing new or different because we lose a lot, but we still have fun. But I left the fields last night and I was very discouraged. And I had, on my drive home, I kind of had to think through these last 20 years, shall we say. When I started 20 years ago, I was 20 years younger. And I think what really got to me last night as I was leaving and I was limping because I had hurt my knee and I've just had, injuries and things just kind of falling apart as I've gotten older, as if 2 open heart surgeries weren't enough. I've just got the nagging injuries that happen. I was getting very down on myself because I'm not the player that I used to be. And that was upsetting to me. I used to be a pretty darn good softball player back in my time, and that time has definitely come and gone. And so I am now just an older, very mediocre softball player. And so I was really down on myself as I left the game last night. But as I drove home and then as I kind of thought about it today, there are a lot of people who I started playing softball with 20 years ago who can't even play anymore, who don't play anymore. And it really got me around to the idea of giving thanks tonight on this episode, because I am thankful that I am still in well enough physical condition that I can go out and I can play this every week for however many months we play, from March to November, and I can still play. I'm not the player that I once was, never going to be, because I'm a lot older and I've put a lot of tread on these tires. But I can still go out there and I can still play. I can still go spend 2+ hours with a great group of guys who I am also very thankful for. And we can just spend an evening together just as ball players. And it's really those moments that I kind of return to when I think, man, I really stink compared to what I was even 10 years ago. Well, you know what? The other guys have gotten older too. And how many times can you say, like, I'm just going to point out my buddies, James, Scott, and Cesar. We've played together for 15 years. That core group of guys on this one team. Man, a lot of people don't have friendships that last 15 years. You could make a very long list of the people who've been in and out of my life in 15 years. I mean, I played softball with them longer than I was married. So I come back around to being very thankful for the opportunities that I've had to play a game that I love. I love to play that game, even though I'm not any good at it anymore. The group of people who I get to play with, who are a good group of guys who I have seen and walked with through all avenues of life. These were the guys that I saw every week when I was going through my divorce. These are the guys that I've seen every week when they might have been going through a divorce. These are the guys who I've seen have children and begin families. And I'm not a part of that, but I'm on the periphery of it. I'm on the circle. I get to see these wonderful things happening for them. And again, it's just something I'm very thankful for. So I was feeling very selfish and down on myself for what I have lost and what I have lacked, especially this season, as I feel like the wheels really fell off on my ability level. But then I took account of all the things that I've gained and all these lifelong friends and all these lifelong experiences and these families that I get to, from the outside looking in, enjoy and experience. And I am very thankful for that opportunity. So that's just one of the things that I was thankful for. And that's kind of what led to tonight's show, was, again, that initial feeling of being down and being upset with myself. But then, like most things in life, when you're down on yourself or a situation is terrible, most of the time it does circle around and get to something that will ultimately lead you to thank that situation. And I know that sounds very odd to say. I know how strange that sounds. Like, really, something's terrible. How am I ever going to thank that situation? Well, I thank softball for the people in my life. I'm certainly not fighting for any contracts. No pro sports team is going to say, hey, I want that 38 fat guy to come play on my team. 38-year-old fat guy. That's not going to happen. I'm thankful for the little thing. I'm thankful for the gray that's coming in on my beard down here, because, with age comes wisdom. And I think I might have learned a few lessons in my time. And another thing I'm thankful for, if we think about it, 2 years ago, I almost kicked out. My second open heart surgery was almost the end of me, and there wasn't going to be a chance to do this show or a chance to grow the gray in the beard or to stink up a softball field. So again, those are things I'm very thankful for. I'm thankful that I've made it this long, and I'm thankful that I made it to this age, and I'm thankful that I could sit in my car last night and be angry about softball, because at least I'm sitting in my car thinking about something, and I'm not, sleeping with the fishes. See? Sorry, old movie quote there. So there are things to be thankful about from every situation. Another thing I'm thankful for, of course, are my friends and family, my friends from the softball team, my friends as in you people who watch this show. Anyone who is tuned in tonight or tunes in at all. I mean, you guys are so great for joining me on the weekly or as you can, or supporting the show, whether it be through the financial aspect or going to the website and increasing that traffic, sharing an episode you like, viewing an episode, hitting a like button. I am so very thankful for all of you who hit like buttons. Anything you do for this show, I am very thankful for, and I don't want to harp on it every week, because you would get tired of listening to it. If I kept blowing smoke on you every week, you would eventually tire of it. But since this is my thankful episode, I want to express from me to you how thankful I am for everybody's support for this little show that was going to ultimately end up being nothing, and is now just so very close to 1 million views. Yes, I keep track, and yes, I know we're getting so close. But 1 million views, that means this show and everything that you guys have done to help has almost reached 1 million people. And of course, before anyone jumps down my throat, which I can feel it coming, it is not because of me. It's kind of because of you, but it's mainly because of Big Man upstairs. And what we're doing is important to people. And I was just talking to someone about this week who was asking about the show. This show originally was supposed to be for divorced people, or for divorced men. So we went from divorced men to divorced people. Well, then the other people decided, hey, well, we kind of want a piece of this action too, because we like what's going on. So now we just try and make it a show that encompasses everyone. And again, that's not me. It's not because you want to hear my voice every week, because I don't even want to hear my voice every week, but it's because what we're doing is important. And the perspective that we get, again, when we bring Joe on for a biblical perspective, when Pastor Greg comes on, when Josh, the masked veteran, comes on, when Amy comes on, and then the few things that I get fed to spit out, those are the things that are important. And again, it's not because of me. It is absolutely not because of me. It is because of what I'm trying to do with my vertical relationship to God, which is the most important thing at all. Because if he ever told me stop doing the show, then I would stop, and it wouldn't even really be a question. But I think this is important. I think that we're doing the right thing. And so I'm thankful to all of you for the support that you have shown during this venture, wherever we end up. And if we go off the air next week forever, it's been a great ride. If this goes on for many more years, really, 14 minutes into the show and Facebook is going to kick me off. I do not approve of this whatsoever, Facebook. So anyway, I know that we went off air there for a moment. Yeah, I know. Everyone log back in. Keep logging in. I see what you're doing, Facebook. You want to kick me off while I'm on a roll. Yeah, 14 minutes into the show. I see. Okay. Well, the good news, and I'm sorry that we lost everyone. The good news is that the wonderful and amazing people who I'm thankful for, at Clover Hill Promotions, they are going to be able to fix this problem real quick. So yes, we lost it for a minute. I had to end the last show and restart. So of course, technology gets in the way. You got to love it when that happens. I'm not going to go and even look where it shut off, but we're going to continue on here with our thankful episode. And again, I'm sorry everyone for that problem. I see we've got 2 people back, Jen and Kathy. Thank you so much. Technology. I was on a roll, man. I was going. If you liked what I was saying before, you should have heard everything I said after we went off the air, because that was like the best stuff I've ever said. Now no one's ever going to hear it. You gotta love it when that happens. So anyway, sorry for the technological difficulties. Let's continue on with where I left off, wherever that was. More things that we're thankful for. Again, because of today, I'm throwing out. I'm sorry. I'm checking messages here, as I know. Yeah, things are wonky, and I'm sorry about all that. On this day where we in the U.S. get to go vote, that's another thing we're actually thankful for is our ability to go vote. Because as I was thinking about it, man, there are countries and people out there who don't have this option, who don't get the chance to go to their polls and to vote for their elected officials, and they're just kind of stuck with what they've got, whether it be due to the historical families or due to violence and aggression. So even if you don't like who wins tonight, if you may not like the candidate that ends up winning, I just encourage you all to support as best you can the people that come out of this, because ultimately the failure of political officials is a failure on the country. And I do not root in any way, shape, or form for our country to fail. And that goes all the way from the presidency down. I will be 100% honest with you guys right now. And I know that when you vote for people, that's supposed to kind of be a private thing. And I get that. That's fine. But our previous president, Barack Obama, twice I didn't vote for him. But you know what? He was my president. For 8 years, he was absolutely my president. And so I'm just, I'm letting y'all know that no matter who comes out of the elections, you know, I would ask you to support the people as best as you can or as much as you feel inclined. And so let me respond to a message here as everyone's telling me that we went off the air. I know, I'm sorry. So yeah, be thankful though. Be thankful that we even have this problem and have this option to really complain about our political parties if you so desire. If you didn't vote, you don't get to complain. If you did vote and you do complain, just be careful, because really we're all in this together. And when we take a look at the political landscape and just how divided we are right now, don't let these midterm elections divide things further. You may not like who won, you may not like who lost. Just remember, we're all in this together. We're all on the same side. And so try and keep that going. That's, again, though, something I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that we even have the chance to do that. And I see more people filtering in. Like I said, we're going to fix this. The podcast version and what goes on the website, you're not even going to notice that there was a delay, because our graphic design people will hammer this problem out, no problems. As for the live feed, I am at the mercy of Facebook, and so I apologize. More things that I am thankful for, of course, my daughters. Those two, they crack me up constantly. They just actually called me right before this show, so I was almost late getting the live feed on, because I was on the phone with my daughters, which there's no place I'd rather spend my time than on the phone with my daughters, and they were pretty funny. Over at their mother's house, they have a new dog, not really new, been around for a few months, but those two with a 10-month-old puppy, it just sounds like a tornado going through that house. I can only imagine what their mother has to deal with two kids and that 10-month-old, I don't know, 40, 50-pound dog. But man, they love that dog. All I hear about is that dog. So I am very glad and thankful that they have the opportunity to do that. That's not something that I can offer them over here with their life with dad. But I'm thankful to get the chance to own a pet, because man, that's an experience. Been there many times. But I am always thankful for my daughters, and just the things that they do just every day continue to amaze me. I think I have two very smart girls. I have two girls that are going, I hope, of course, as every parent does, but I really think that they're going to amount to something. My oldest just has that heart that you want in a kid, that willingness to help, that charity of spirit, and she's got that in abundance. And then my youngest, my youngest is fearless. That kid is going to just take over the world. But both of them, I love them to death, and so I'm thankful every day for them. I am never, of course, going to be thankful for the situation that, of course, I had my hand in, with them having to be products of a broken home, as it's called. It was never my idea for them to come from divorced parents. But along those lines, and again, talking about the things that we give thanks for, and I know that this sounds crazy. And I know this sounds crazy. Let me say it a third time. This sounds crazy, but there actually are some aspects of my divorce that I'm actually thankful for at this point. There are a lot of things that have happened post-divorce that would not have happened otherwise. And that's just the honest to goodness truth. I don't like that my daughters are always going to be from a broken home. Again, at the time, a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old. It breaks me up inside that my youngest daughter will never, ever, 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 ever have a memory of mom, dad, and sister together. Okay, that just destroys me every time I think about it. But for me, and for the things I'm thankful for, there are aspects of that I'm thankful for. And I think of all the lessons that I've learned post-divorce on dealing with people, on dealing with relationships, on dealing with situations. I was a very different person 8 years ago than I am now. And I'll be the first to tell you that. There are experiences that I would not have had that divorce not happened. Now, granted, if I'd stayed married, there would have been other experiences. Okay, I understand that. But I can only look at the ones that I've had post-divorce, and I've had some amazing experiences. I've taken up, I took up running. And I told you guys that a long time ago. I took up running. And again, this is not self-promotion. This is celebrating accomplishments. Okay, that's what I'm chalking this up under. And I'm bringing this all full circle to thankfulness, which is the theme of tonight's show. But I just wanted to throw this out at you. On December 2nd, I'm going to be running my 150th race. And I'm super excited about that. Now, I'm doing it at the same race that I ran 8 years ago. That was my first one, and it's just a 5K. Just a 5K. I hated it when people used to say it was just a 5K. Well, it's still 3 miles. It's a long way to go. It's a 5K. It's called the Great Santa Run here, and it's local. But that was the first one I did in 2010, and it'll be my 150th race here in 2018. And I'm thankful for every race that I've gotten to run. I am thankful that I was led to running as a form of divorce stress a long time ago by a coworker of mine, a guy named Kirk. He's the guy who first told me to run. We ran my first 5K together. And now I'm 150 races later, 6 full marathons. I credit running a lot with helping to save me during some of my darkest times. And now this is just it's a hobby. It's something I very much enjoy. And it's a great outlet to deal with stress and anger and the things that used to control me. And so I'm thankful for having it as a way to be healthy about getting rid of the things I used to deal with. So again, I am thankful for that. I know I've listed a lot of these things that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for Team Fidelis, which is the veteran outreach group that I work with, and the wonderful people that I work with there. It's a volunteer organization trying to help veterans. I'm not even a veteran, okay? But they've accepted me into the family because I, as a civilian, just want to help. I've had military veterans all in my family. I couldn't be one because, 2 open heart surgeries will take care of that real quick. But I want to do what I can because I am thankful to every veteran, both past, present, and future, for allowing me the freedom to vote today, allowing me the freedom to sit here and talk to every one of you. There are countries where this kind of a show would not be tolerated, and it would be immediately yanked down from the internet. So I am thankful. And of course, all of this brings me full circle to being thankful to God and being thankful for my 2 friends who I've talked about many times, who took me back to church in 2012 so that I could start spiritually healing post-divorce and in my life, because I had spent many years, 2 post-divorce years and then many years before that, away from the church, away from any kind of religion whatsoever, not because I was just all against it, but just because I felt like I didn't need it. Felt like I built that life that I had. I had my wife and my kids and my dog and my car and my motorcycle and my house. And I did that myself, and I didn't need anyone's help, and I didn't see any divine help coming down for me. So I took it all for granted. And as they say, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, and he took it away. And so, again, thankful for the lessons learned, but I'm thankful for that relationship I have. I'm thankful for this show and for Pastor Joe, who helps us out every month, who is going to be on next week and the week after. So next week, we're going to keep talking about thankfulness. And Pastor Joe is going to get his time to brag on everything he is thankful for. And then we're going to talk about kind of the spirituality around thankfulness and being thankful to God. And biblically, how do you show thanks and how do you give thanks? And how do we extend our thanks to other people? And so that's going to be next week. And I'm really looking forward to that episode. And then in 2 weeks, we had promised you a very difficult episode to talk about for the LGBTQ community. That is going to happen in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tonight, with our very special guest. So you don't want to miss that one. Again, we had to reschedule that. That was going to happen in October. Now we've moved it to November 20th, but we're good to go. So that's going to be a good one. I did not even get a chance to go through my Facebook page for all the things that people gave thanks for. But I can tell you that a lot that I saw on the Facebook world are people who are thankful for their friends and for their families and for their churches and for their relationship with Jesus and for the military and military service, for even just the country and the voting today, which of course was a big deal. So all that, I loved that post because everyone who responded, it was everything was something different, and everything is from the heart. And as I could read it, I could read who it was from, and I can just see, oh yeah, that makes sense for that person, and yeah, that person really has that going in their life. And so it's awesome to see people giving thanks for the good things that are happening to them, because as we talked about last week, society is so negative anymore. I kind of want to see the election coverage, and I kind of don't, because I know that it is going to just be filled with each side taking their shots at the other out of anger, out of hate, out of bitterness. And that's what we cannot be about anymore. That is what we cannot be about. So I want to thank you guys for your time. I want to thank you for your support. In October, we got 2 new patrons. I would love to grow 2 patrons a month. And if you go to the website and click on the Patreon link, you can learn all about that. But we got 2 new patrons in October, and I did not properly thank them on air. So to my 2 newbies, thank you so much for your support of this show. Every dollar goes towards growing the show. Trust me, I'm not out there planning any Vegas trips. I am not at the boats. That ain't happening. But every dollar donated is going to go back into the show and getting the word out and trying to grow this thing. So I'll ask from you, if you don't want to donate financially, no problem at all. Hit like, hit share, tell your friends, have a viewing party, whatever you want to do. And if you have ideas on how to make this show better, send them, bring them right here, because I want to know, because I want this to be enjoyable for all who watch. So it's already 8:30. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. This show will be smushed together when it goes on the website. And again, I'm sorry that Facebook disagrees with me sometimes, and I don't know why. So let's pray and go. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our evening together, and I'm thankful to you. I am thankful to you for all that you've done for me, all that you've done for the people who commented, and everything that you do for us on the daily. So much of it goes unappreciated, and that's our fault. But I want to take this moment right now to recognize that nothing happens, none of this happens without you and your grace and your mercy and your love. So Lord, keep everyone safe and bring everyone back next week. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, there we go. Go to www.walkingwithgodradio.com, and you can see this episode later in one piece. That'll be great. Have a great week, everyone. We will see you next week. Pastor Joe is going to join us a week early, and we're going to have another episode of just having a good time and being thankful, because that's what this month is about. See ya.